Hello everybody and welcome to the thing we've all been waiting for, Season 5! It's a slightly action-packed episode, mostly creepy, but it's worth the wait. Those smiles are really creepy. It looks like it came right from Saw. I didn't expect My Little Pony to do something like that. I was actually pretty surprised. They don't usually add this kind of horror aspect to the show.
There are a lot of things that are surprising about this particular episode, especially as a season opener. In terms of style, this one definitely felt like a throwback to the earlier seasons, back before the two-parters became a showcase for elaborate action scenes and overblown animation effects. That isn't meant as a diss to the Season 4 two-parters, I really loved both of them, but I will say that this episode definitely felt more inspired by the likes of Friendship is Magic or The Crystal Empire than, say, Twilight's Kingdom.
I also like how they're adding a lot more layers to the show this season. This episode had many different views. There were the views from the main six, the townsfolk, and from Starlight Glimmer. Usually, it's just from the viewpoint of the main six.
Yeah, this was definitely a unique episode, and even if it didn't have the elaborate effects of the Season 4 two-parters, it still did its own thing and tried something new, which is definitely a good thing. So, what are we waiting for? An episode like this one definitely warrants us going into detail.
So as Twilight ponders the mysteries of this castle, as all of the ponies sit down, the cue marks / chairs start to glow. After Twilight sits down, a chain reaction starts and a large map pops up in the very center of the rounded chairs. I think Spike's reaction is the best out of all of them.
Now, this isn't a complaint towards the episode or anything like that, but I should probably get it off my chest now so that it doesn't keep haunting me all season. After having seen an extended sequence inside Twilight's castle, I can officially say that I don't like the interior design of the castle, or the map for that matter. It feels really cluttered and the color scheme just doesn't work for me. I don't hate it or anything, and it's not essential to my liking of an episode, but I do notice it.
I love the interior design. It's very different from the normal castle, and it looks very similar to the original home at the library. While the other castles were made of stone, this one is made of crystal.
I do appreciate them giving the castle a unique look, but it's just not for me.
Keep spouting knowledge like that, and you'll be getting the whole fandom hating on ya. #Bob!
Images of the main six's cutie marks float onto the map and move from Ponyville to a remote location on the outside of Equestria. They all agree to travel there to see why the map would want them there. If this map is going to be a recurring feature on the show, I guess this means that we're going to get a few road trip episodes this season.
At least in a montage. I wouldn't want to sit through that though. A road trip song.
After some fun antics from Pinkie Pie, they arrive at the location, which turns out to be just a remote little village. But it's also a weird remote little village. All of the ponies have creepy exaggerated grins, and they all have the same equal sign mark on their flanks. Fluttershy doesn't seem to mind, but Pinkie Pie is very suspicious.
Pinkie Pie hasn't really shown this side of her ever. The ponies are surprised, and quite frankly, I am too. I like it though. She's feeling kinda sassy.
Welcome.
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 Welcome. Welcome.
Oh, I don't want to hear one more welcome. It gets old fast.
This must be the most pleasant place in Equestria. Welcome.
Ugh.
These ponies are already starting to creep me out, and we've only barely gotten into the episode yet. Just wait until what lies ahead. I swear, there's enough creepy antics in this episode to rival Lesson 0.
Definitely.
Pardon my forwardness, but are you an alicorn?
Well, finally someone noticed! After a whole season where Twilight's princessness was nigh unacknowledged, finally a character notices Twilight's wings.
I remember how annoyed we were at this last season. Finally, they realized their mistakes. You took long enough.
The main six are introduced to the founder of the town, Starlight Glimmer, no relation to Sunset Shimmer. She tells them that in their town, no pony has any special talents and everyone is equal, hence the equal signs. And, oh, I think it's song time!
Life is so grand in our town.
I love the song though! I mean, it's a bad message, it's not good news, but it's catchy! Why did you have to make such a terrible thing catchy?
With this song, the MLP writers are introducing us to the Starlight Glimmer philosophy in an actually interesting way. I'll admit there are a few things in this song that sound a bit weird, but on the whole it's a decent song with some clever lyrics to boot.
You can't have a nightmare if you never dream.
That is the best line in the whole thing.
Most of the main six are apprehensive, but Fluttershy doesn't want to judge the local townsfolk for their choices. Although, as we quickly see, a town with no special talents doesn't really have much to offer besides lame fashion and disgusting muffins.
I'm pretty sure that Starlight forced all of the members of her town into having their cutie marks removed. I think that she might have forced everyone to join. Or at least most. I'm gonna pull you into this corner here and I'm gonna rip your kid mark right off your flank and it's going to be wonderful. I'm gonna shove you all to this firehouse here and repeatedly say some creepy stuff, forcing you to accept our way. Oh, it's gonna be wonderful. You're gonna smile until your mouth cramps up, you lose all your powers, and you can wonder, why did I come here in the first place? I don't care if you want to go. I've gotten you into this fun barrel of monkeys and you're never gonna get entangled. Have a nice, terrible life in our wonderful utopia. Whatever your name was. Did I do a good impression?
One of the ponies sneaks the main six into the basement. After a really clever scene where we can't tell what the ponies' intentions are, they learn about the Cutie Mark Vault, where all cutie marks are stored, and how cutie marks are removed.
The cutie unmarking is a beautiful experience. Starlight uses the staff of sameness.
You know, the writers did such a great job with this episode, but they couldn't sit down for 5 minutes and come up with a better name for that stupid block of wood.
They convinced Starlight Glimmer to let them see the cutie marks.
We hope someday every pony in Equestria will make a pilgrimage here to our little village to have theirs removed too.
How would they even find out about your little village there? It's not like you're a cutie wood, you don't have a big star on the map. But imagine if Princess Celestia somehow stumbled upon the village. That seriously needs to be an episode. That's it. I'm emailing My Little Pony Company.
This just in. Princess Celestia gets her cutie mark removed. The sun will never rise again. Pinkie Pie accidentally lets out that some ponies who wanted their cutie marks back told them about the vault. In order to make sure that a rebellion doesn't start, Starlight rips all of their cutie marks right off of their flanks and shoves them off into this building.
And who says we do that kind of stuff? I did!
This is another good scene. It really makes Starlight into quite a menacing villain, and the fact that all the other citizens of her town are watching too just adds to the freakiness of it all. Cue happy credits music!
Yay! And now we get to move on to the second part, which we don't have to wait a week for since they so kindly aired them at the same time. Have some more heartbreak, everybody! Yeah!
Twilight and friends are locked in a small building where anti-cutie mark slogans are blasted non-stop. Getting their cutie marks removed made the main six unable to do anything related to their special talents.
So in the morning, they are summoned out of the town, and they are asked if they are ready to join. They, of course, refuse, but as part of their plan, they make Fluttershy join. Fluttershy will go undercover and find their cutie marks in reality.
Starlight asks Fluttershy to point out which ponies are the ones that told the main six about the vault. Fluttershy doesn't want to tell, but one of the ponies, named Party Favor, proclaims himself guilty of everything. He gets locked in with the rest.
Of course, the other two culprits feel horrible, but they don't do anything about it. At least Fluttershy is in!
Fluttershy finds out that Starlight is keeping the main six's cutie marks close to her just in case someone is trying to trick her. Also, Starlight actually has a cutie mark that she keeps covered up all the time.
This will cause a lot of problems in the future. Trust me.
The next day, Fluttershy reveals Starlight's cutie mark to the whole town, in one of the episode's better scenes. The whole town realizes what a scam artist Starlight is, and decide to go get their cutie marks back. On top of the good dialogue, we've also got some really good background music and some really good faces. These past 2 seasons have had the artists on this show putting more and more unique facial expressions into their work, and it's really paid off.
Also, Starlight Glimmer, I think you need to lay off the coffee. Have a little less caffeine in your life. Also, a little bit less of being absolutely insane. So, in this scene, Starlight Glimmer is trying to get away with all of the main six's cutie marks. The rest of the village, now with their cutie marks back, jumps in to help, or at least a small portion. They begin to chase her through the treacherous mountains.
She's headed for the past!
For some weird reason, I always mishear that line as, "she's headed for the past."
What is she, a Time Lord?
I like how for the climax of this episode, the main six have to rely on other ponies to get their cutie marks back, instead of the usual main six save the rest of the world. I also like how we actually get to learn about some of the other ponies in the village. Party Favor is good at making useful items out of balloons, and Double Diamond is a really good skier.
So the 4 of them do manage to return the cutie marks to the main six. There's a lot of sentimental nonsense that Twilight says to Starlight Glimmer, and then Starlight runs off into the caves, never to be seen again. Maybe. Then they throw a party, there's a big lesson, and then the episode ends. And now Sugar Bell can bake!
I think one of my favorite parts about this episode is that the main six don't defeat Starlight Glimmer. She isn't reformed like Discord or put in a magical prison like T-Rex.
Or blasted into the sky like Team Rocket.
There's a really interesting angle here with how Starlight just runs out of the picture. Not only does it make this episode feel different than the other two-parters, but it also leaves a sense of uncertainty to the ending that we don't get all that often. Starlight Glimmer is still at large and still the same as her old self. There's a good chance that we, the audience, will never see another episode featuring her, but the fact that she runs off like she does just adds to the creepiness that's been building for the whole episode.
Personally, my rating will be 4.5. I do hope to see this character again. The next victims I would like to see would be Celestia, Luna, etc.
Since we're talking about things we want to see pop up again, I'll say that I'd really like to see another episode sometime in the future focusing on the ponies of the town after getting their cutie marks back. They seem like a really fun group of characters I want to see again at some point in the future. With that out of the way, on the whole, I did like watching this episode. It had an interesting story and introduced some cool new ideas to the show. But this is also kind of a weird one. For some reason, as much as I knew that I liked it, there was a part of me that didn't quite click with it the same way it did with other two-parters from this show, and I think that might have to do with how creepy the whole thing is. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy Friendship is Magic getting its creepy on every now and then, but with this episode, the creepy stuff just lasted so long. It kinda started to get on my nerves because it's just there throughout a good portion of this 44-minute thing with no breaks. At least Queen Chrysalis was only on screen for a portion of the time. Here, it's all weird all the time for a long time. So I do think this is a good episode, but it's not entirely for me, and there are certainly other two-part episodes that I prefer to watch, like the Crystal Empire or a Canterlot Wedding. Still, I'd much rather see an episode that tries something new but isn't quite for me, than an episode that is really boring and tries nothing new. I give this a 3.9.
Personally, I thought that since it was creepy for most of the time, it made the episode better and more enjoyable. I actually wish that Queen Chrysalis was on the screen for more time, and King Sombra.
And if anything, that just goes to show how different episodes appeal to different viewers. Everyone has their own little preferences, and I'm glad that MLP keeps its episodes varied enough so that everyone gets something they like, even if that means that some of the good episodes aren't quite my style.
I really like it when they mix it up with something new, because they don't do that often enough in my opinion.
And so do I. Even if I don't completely get the angle they were going for here, I still do appreciate that it did something new and different and that it continued to experiment with what Friendship is Magic can do. It's that attitude of experimentation that made Season 4 so great, and I think it'll make Season 5 a good experience too.
As do I. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and we'll see you in the next episode. Adios!
Life is so grand in our town. We're always filled with cheer. We never have to look around to know that we're all here.
'Cause all I really need is a smile, smile, smile. I guess.
In our